A very good morning to all of you and welcome to the session, the Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English. As usual, let us start with the snippets. The very first one, political statements. Opposition criticizes Vice President's remarks on Supreme Court. So it is about a political statement. Good morning. Who is this? Bonu. It is about a political statement given by the Vice President of India against the Supreme Court, and that has not been appreciated by the opposition. Political statements, opposition criticizes Vice President's remarks on Supreme Court. Otherwise, nothing to learn as such. Let us go to the second snippet. What is this about? Immense potential. Immense means bullying. Why that word here? Who is this? Okay. Here we have immense potential. Immense means a lot, huge. Potential, the hidden power. I usually tell youngsters, you have a lot of potential. You have to unleash that potential. Unleash means what? To release. Immense means a lot. Modi Musk discuss tie-up in technology. It is about a tie-up between the Indian government and Musk. Simple words, easy to understand, easy to comprehend. Coming to the next snippet, here you can see Farooq skips launch. Skip means to avoid in this context. Skip the meeting, skip the lunch, skip the launch means what? Avoid, not to attend. Farooq Abdullah skips launch of what? Ex-Raw Chief Dulat's book triggers row. A few important words here. One is triggers a row. A row we have got many a time. And when you see the word launch, rocket launcher, who is this? Bhanu, yes. When you see the word launch, something like make something public, then you have to recollect the word unveil. Other words also like reveal, disclose, divulge, unveil, make public, roll out, all these you have to recollect. And coming to the acronym, I always ask students what is the difference between an abbreviation and an acronym. Abbreviation, we take the first letters of different words and we pronounce every letter. For example, BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation. This is an abbreviation. On the other hand, what is an acronym? We take the first letters of different words and we form a word. Here, raw pronounced as a word, not R-A-W. So it is an acronym. What does it mean? It means Research and Analysis Wing. Very good. I appreciate all those students. Who is this? Bhimana and Bhanu, also Srikanth. Very good. I appreciate that. And the word row we have got many a time. I think we have got recently also. Row can be a verb, can be a noun. As a noun, a row, queue. And as a verb, to move a boat, a row. And another meaning as a noun, a dispute. A row means what? A dispute. Exactly. Maga also you can think of. The buzzword right now, the word in the limelight, MAGA. It is an acronym. What do the letters stand for? Make America Great Again. Coming to the next one, Murshidabad violence, scars from a communal fire, the Waqf Act, and the deepening divide across West Bengal. We have done many a time, have read many a time the new snippets related to violence in West Bengal because of Waqf Amendment Bill. This also goes with that. And the words are rather easy, but for one word. What is that word? Scar. Scar has two different meanings. It could be physical, it could be emotional. And physical, imagine there's a cut. And the cut, the black thing remains there for a long time. Then that is known as a scar. And sometimes there's an English movie also, Scarface, Al Pacino, Scarface. And another meaning, emotionally, some event or incident disturbs you a lot. You experience a lot of trauma. You cannot come out of that. Then also we say emotional scar. Either way it is important. Here, Murshidabad violence, scars from a communal fire. Communal fire. And based on the backdrop information, you all know, because of this particular bill, violence in West Bengal between two major communities, I don't have to mention those communities, you all know for sure. And the Waqf Amendment Act and the deepening divide across West Bengal. Deepening divide, 𝐸𝐳𝐸𝐴, okay, not aware of that. Coming to deepening divide across West Bengal, as a smart learner, you have to recollect another word. When a particular society or particular organization gets divided into two major groups, then we call it polarization. Do you guys remember? Polarization. Polarization means what? Based on a particular thing, the society, the country, the organization divides into two major groups, something like the North Pole and the South Pole. Then we use the word polarization, an important word. Yes, Jyoti, that is the word you have to think of. Coming to the next one, goes with sports. You must have watched yesterday's match. Kings ruled the day, means that they were dominant. Chahal was there a star in Punjab's win over Bengaluru, RCB. You must have watched that match, and they played a crucial role. One spinner, Chahal, the other batsman, Vadhera. Star in Punjab's win over RCB. Simple words, but still. Now let us go to the headline or headlines from today's paper. Rubio hints at US exit if Ukraine peace deal stalls. There's one important word. Hints, these are rather easy words, and stalls. It talks about, you all know, war between Russia and Ukraine, and the US is trying to play a crucial role regarding the peace deal. Based on that, Rubio hints. Hints means tell something indirectly, convey something indirectly. At US exit, if Ukraine peace deal stalls, here stall can be a noun, can be a verb. Stall as a noun, we all know. When we go to an exhibition, we come across a stall. But here stall means as a verb, stop. Stall means what here? Stop. Good morning. Peace deal stalls means it stops. Coming to the snippets over here, all new NCERT textbooks named thoughtfully. A new set of NCERT books which are very important at the school level. Not only that, when there is a person who is preparing for competitive exams, especially civil services, all the IAS aspirants, civil services aspirants, they start with, exactly, stalls means stop. Yes, that's what I said. Here stall means stop. They start with NCERT books for the basics, for the foundation. Then they read the subject books. NCERT books are very important. All new NCERT textbooks named thoughtfully. Jaishankar must take up US visa issue with Rubio. Today, you all know many Indian students are totally disturbed. They are not at all at ease because of Trump's policies, and a lot of the visas of a lot of Indian students have been revoked. You all know that for various reasons, and some legal, some illegal, but a lot, the entire community, student community especially, those who have indulged in some sort of political activity or some sort of law violation like traffic rules, their visas have been revoked. And based on that, this snippet, Jaishankar must take up US visa issue with Rubio. Must take up means must discuss, must talk about the anxiety, the agony, and the apprehensions the Indian students have regarding being in the US, staying in the US. Coming to the main head, after this headline, what do we have? We have here 74 killed in US strikes on Yemen fuel port Houthis. US has been striking, and based on that, what is the impact of the US strike? 74 killed in US strikes on Yemen fuel port. Coming to the news item over here, FBI arrests suspected BK operator wanted in Punjab terror cases. So this man and FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and today the head of FBI is an Indian. I don't know how many of you know that. That's an important current affairs or GK bit. Indian is the head of Federal Bureau of Investigation. the US investigation agency. An Indian is the head of that. If you know, you can mention the name of that person. Coming to the beautiful pic over here, you can see a mother in uniform holding a baby and giving a warm kiss. What does it talk about? Pride and love. Pride based on the uniform, love towards the son or daughter. But what does the news item say? Mom on duty. So, mom on duty. A new recruit of the Jammu and Kashmir police with her child after passing out parade in Manigam, about 34 kilometers northeast of Srinagar on Friday. A total of 338 recruits were inducted into the force upon completion of 1 year of rigorous training. Inducted. Induct means what? It has an important mom on duty, an important expression. Induction means tomorrow you get the job and you enter the first day you go to the office, someone receives you, introduces your colleagues and talks about your responsibilities, takes you into the organization formally. That process is called induction, an important word you are going to face sooner or later. And another word over here, rigorous training, that is also very important. When you train someone or you train yourself, if the training is rigorous, rigorous training means very strict, facing a lot of tough tasks, that is known as rigorous training, an important word. Coming to the other news item, Tamil Nadu CM rebuts Modi's jibe on fund requests, citing rights of state. Two important words over here. One is rebut. Have we got these words or have we got for the first time? Have we already got these words? I don't think so. Rebut means to challenge, to defy, to oppose. And jibe means something like mocking someone, jeer, mock, ridicule, look down upon. We haven't got. Rebut means what? Give back, oppose, challenge, defy, all these. You can make out based on the context. Tamil Nadu CM rebuts Modi's jibe. Means he has not accepted and he has not agreed in a way. And Modi's jibe means what? Ridicule or mockery. On fund request citing rights of state. What is the reason behind rebutting Modi's, the Prime Minister's jibe? He cited, cite means what? Quote. This is also an important word, but we have got many a time. Quoting rights of states. Because today if you take Indian Constitution, it is quasi-federal. Means what? Partly unitary, partly federal in nature. States have their own rights. So he must have quoted the rights of the states. And when you see this word, already who is this Jyoti has come up, you have to recollect all the related words. SIGHT, site, and CITE, site, quote. SITE, plot, a piece of land. Let us go down we have one news item over here. Protect minorities. Delhi tells Dhaka as neighbor rakes up Bengal riots. Two words here, rake up, riots. Riots we have already got, means clashes. Clashes or fights involving groups of people or involving communities. Then we say riots. But rake up is a phrasal verb, an important one. What exactly does it mean? Rake up means to talk about a past event or to talk about a past incident that should be forgotten. You should forget that incident, but you talk about that. Why should you forget? Because it makes you feel uncomfortable or it annoys you. Rake up the past means what? Talk about some past incident that should be forgotten because it annoys or makes someone feel uncomfortable. An important phrasal verb you may get in the exam. Do remember. That's all from the front page of today's Hindu paper. A few important words we have come across. Do remember, front page. Every page there is something to learn from the exam point of view. English proficiency point of view. Past you have to recollect. Who is this? 𝐶𝐲𝐿. Don't dwell on the past. Don't brood over the past. And when you think a lot about something, you can also think of words like contemplate, introspect, ponder, all these words. Now let us go to today's editorial. An important one. It deals with the US. Today, the US is in the limelight because of Donald Trump and because of his policies. And here the editorial talks about the impact of Trump's policies on education. Because you are all students and you know you belong to this field in a way, though you are preparing for competitive exams, you can make out that it's an important editorial. An editorial like this, which talks about a particular thing that has long term consequences or ramifications, definitely important. You may get in the exam because it deals with education, it deals with development, it deals with economy in a way. Let us see what it is, how it goes about, and some important words are there you can learn from this editorial. How does it start? Self inflicted wound. There are two words over here, inflict. You should also recollect, yes, Vishnu, the USA, the UK, but important ones are the Netherlands, the Philippines, and the Irish Republic, the Nalanda University. Okay? Inflicted wound. Inflict means cause someone or something to suffer or to experience pain. Inflict usually takes pain, trouble, hardships. Inflict pain. Here, self inflicted. Someone inflicts pain on himself, then it is self infliction. And here, self inflicted wound. Wound has, what does it mean? Literally, a cut or a hole in your flesh or in the skin because of a gunshot or because of a weapon, any weapon for that matter. That is known as wound. Injury, you can say, to injury to the body. Self-inflicted wound. But here it doesn't mean literally that. It talks about the country as such, the impact on the US, and based on that self-inflicted wound. But why this heading? The US stands to lose a lot by defunding higher education. The US stands to lose a lot. Means the US is likely to lose a lot. And when you see the word lose, you have to recollect LOSE, lose, a verb, lose, lost, lost. But LOOSE, lose, loose shirt, tight shirt, adjective. And loss, opposite of profit, a noun. All you have to recollect. The US stands to lose a lot. Why? By defunding higher education. I have done this a few times. The US President Donald Trump has done a lot. When did he become the US President? In the month of Jan, Feb, March, April. He has done a lot. Some certain things positive, certain things negative. Not from the world's point of view, but Americans' point of view also. This talks about the impact of Trumpism, you can say, on the higher education in the US. Usually universities in any country for that matter, they get the funds from the center. And when the university has the funds, they can indulge in or they can resort to research and they can work seriously on certain projects because everything involves money. If the funds are cut off, the progress of the university is at crossroads. And based on that, the US stands to lose a lot by defunding higher education. President, and what is the bone of contention or the apple of discord here? It is about the row between the Harvard University, considered the #1 university in the world, and the President of the US, Donald Trump. This is the background information. President Donald Trump's threat to revoke the tax exempt status. Revoke. Our students know. What does it mean? Revoke means what? Cancel, repeal, revoke, make something null and void. All these words you have to recollect. Threat, yes, threat you have to recollect. Naidu, you are there, very good. Endanger, jeopardy, and threaten, menace. Threat to revoke the tax exempt status of Harvard University as an education institution will have far reaching consequences, not only for the wider student community, but also for corporate America and the military industrial complex. A lengthy sentence, but easy to comprehend. What does it say? The US president is going to stop the funding to the Harvard University, and that is going to make an impact not only on the student community, but also on the industrial atmosphere or ambience, and also on the economy of the US in a way, because it talks about corporate America. But what are the words you can learn, proficiency point of view? President Donald Trump's threat to revoke the tax exempt status. Exemption from something means what? Imagine there's a rule, everyone has to pay the tax except a particular group. Means that particular group has been exempted from paying their tax. Something like a special privilege. You don't have to do it, but others have to do it. Tax, that means the Harvard University doesn't have to pay the tax. That is the status it has. Tax exempt status of the Harvard University as an educational institution will have far-reaching consequences. An important phrase you have to remember. Far-reaching consequences means tremendous negative impact based on this context. Not only for the wider student community. Here, wider student community means the Harvard University encourages student community from across the world. It is a heterogeneous group, not homogeneous. They have students from across the world, many countries, and it is a number one because their ideology and their approach is entirely different. But also for corporate America and the military-industrial complex. The administration also indicated that it will block the admission of foreign students who make up nearly a third of Harvard student body. Here the administration means that Trump's government, that's what it means. The administration also indicated one thing, it has stopped the funds, that is one thing. Another point to be pondered over, the administration also indicated that it would block the admission of foreign students who make up nearly a third of Harvard's student body. If you take the Harvard University, the student body of the university, one third foreign students. Now, Trump government wants to block the foreign students. That will definitely have far-reaching consequences. Now, what is the response of the university based on stopping the funds and also dictating the terms, imposing ideology, saying that foreign students should not be enrolled? What is the response of the Harvard University? The university has refused to accept intrusive federal government control. There's one important. All this indicates the federal government means what? Trump's government. All this indicates the federal government is trying to intrude into the university affairs, intrude, to enter a particular place without permission. You all know that meaning. And imagine someone enters a particular place without any permission. We say intruder, intrusive. Intrusive means asking questions which make someone feel uncomfortable. And it goes with questions, it goes with interviews. We use this word. It also goes with entering a particular place. Here, the university has refused to accept intrusive federal government control over its activities based on the premise that, premise means a reason on which a particular action is taken, based on the premise that the government is providing hefty grants. Why is it imposing? The government is imposing because the federal government in the US provides grants to the university. And there's one word here, hefty, means what? Huge. The university has refused to accept intrusive federal government control over its activities based on the premise that the government is providing hefty grants. Now, why does the US government try to indulge in or interfere in the affairs of the Harvard University? In a way, it feels that it has a right to do it because it provides the funds to the university. Hefty grants means providing huge grants or huge funds to the university. When you provide funds to a particular organization, obviously you feel you have the right to interfere and do something, impose your ideas. This is the context. The ostensible reason, this is an important word we have got many a time. Do you guys remember this word? Ostensible. Seems to be one thing, but it is something else actually. They may give one reason, but the reason may be some other reason. Apparently one reason, but actually some other reason. ostensible, seems to be something, but actually it is something else. The ostensible reason for the Trump administration move is a so-called left-wing anti-Semitic protests against the Gaza war that broke out at Harvard and Columbia, which have the image of being left liberal. To understand this, you got to have again background information. I'm sure you all have. When this has been going on for quite some time, war between Israel and Hamas, and Israelis are basically Jews, and some people they opposed Israeli attacks, and based on that, on-campus protests, and based on that, their visas have been revoked. This is the background information. Trump administration move is a so-called left-wing anti-Semitic protests. The reason, what is the reason behind? The ostensible reason for the Trump administration move is the so-called left-wing anti-Semitic. How many of you know the meaning of the word anti-Semitic? Anti-Semitic means anti-Jews. Anti-Jews, that is known as anti-Semitic. And hostile, obviously, that's a general term. Left-wing anti-Semitic protests against the Gaza war that broke out. An important phrasal verb I have given many a time. Break out means to start suddenly. It goes with war, clashes, fights, diseases, and also fire, volcanic eruptions. Broke out at Harvard and Columbia, which have the image of being left liberal. Left liberal. What is this right? What is this left? Generally speaking, right is something like democratic. Left is something like communism, and different ideologies, different viewpoints. The Trump administration seems to be playing to its Make America Great Again MAGA base, which has nursed historical grievances against Northeastern elite, you can say elite, and the universities exemplified in the Ivy Leagues. See, all these editorials, sometimes what happens, you got to have background information. Otherwise, very difficult to comprehend. Background information is a must. And what is the background information here? If you take the US, 50 states, broadly we say states on the west coast, states on the east coast, northeast, southwest. Southwest we have a state like California. Californians are known as the torchbearers of American civilization. Northeast we have Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New York, all the places which are very popular, and they have the Ivy League universities. Now, what is this Ivy Leagues? In the US, many universities are highly reputed, but some universities are considered the best. They are known as Ivy League universities. Have you heard of this any time? Ivy League. And what are the Ivy League universities? The Harvard University, the Yale University, the Princeton University, the Rice University, the Brown University, Cornell University. All these universities are known as Ivy League universities. And usually, if you take the president of the US, exceptions are always there. Trump is an exception. But if you take people like Bill Clinton and also the Vice President Hillary Clinton, they are the products of Yale University. And some Obama also, I think he belongs to. Many presidents, Princeton University, the Yale University, the Harvard University, prestigious universities. So this talks about the Trump administration seems to be playing to its Make America Great Again MAGA base. And this particular concept, the group, which has nursed historical grievances. Here, nurse means to entertain, to have historical grievances, grievance, a complaint, a perceived problem. Based on that, you complain. Historical grievances against Northeastern elite and the universities. Northeastern elite, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Boston, a place like Boston, and you have New York, and so many places on Northeast, exemplified in the Ivy Leagues. These institutions are indeed elite in terms of academic standards, but Harvard admits students from a socio-economic spectrum through generous scholarships. All these universities definitely, beyond any doubt, elite. British pronunciation elite, American elite. And elite, there are no doubt, these institutions are indeed elite in terms of academic standards. But Harvard, it stands out. On what basis? But Harvard admits students from a socio-economic spectrum through generous scholarships. It provides scholarships based on that people from all walks of life can enter the Harvard University based on the intellectual caliber. And here we have spectrum. Spectrum, an important word, means range in this context. The Trump administration opposes diversity, equity, and inclusion principles ideologically. There is a clash ideology. Trump's administration has a particular ideology, and the Harvard University has quite opposing ideology. That is a problem here. The Trump administration opposes diversity, equity, and inclusion principles ideologically, and Harvard could also have been targeted for this reason. That could be one of the reasons why the Harvard University has been targeted. But Harvard has deep pockets. Have you heard of this any time? Deep pockets? Please respond. Deep pockets means to be very rich. Someone or a particular institution, very rich. Then we use the expression, he has deep pockets. It has deep pockets, means extremely rich. Do remember an important one. The Harvard University has deep pockets and has heft in the corridors of power. Here another word. Hefty means heavy, but heft means, it goes with that meaning. Another meaning, heft means influence. Influence. Heft in the corridors of power to outlast Mr. Trump. Means in this fight, the editorial opines, the Harvard University may have an upper hand. It may have. Possibility is there based on two reasons. One reason, funds not an issue because they have deep pockets. Second, they have the influence, heft in the corridors of power to outlast, to be smarter than Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump's slashing of government research funds. Here slash means what? Cut down the funds, reduce the funds. Hefty fines also we say. Yes, Naidu. Extremely rich. Yes, Balaram. Very good. I appreciate. Mr. Trump's slashing of government research funds has also affected several public universities, including in deep red states. Here, deep red means Republican states, and deep blue means democratic states. Otherwise, if you don't have that background information, not easy to understand. Has also affected several public universities, including in deep red states such as Alabama. Public universities, barring a few such as in Michigan, Texas, and California, that have built a sizable endowment. Endowment means fund given to an institution, education institution, or given to a hospital as a source of income, endowment, funds, financially speaking, have built a sizable endowment, depend on state support, and are under increasing political control. When a particular institution depends on the state control, state funds, obviously, it has to listen to the political power in that particular state. America's government-induced crisis in higher education threatens a key edifice of American strength and power. An important word here, edifice. Edifice usually goes with buildings. A big, huge building, we use the word edifice, imposing building. But here something like a strong structure. Here edifice means what? Strong structure. System, strong system. What is the impact here? America's government-induced crisis in higher education threatens a key edifice of American strength and power. What is it? It strikes at a long-standing belief in that nation, which is borne out by data. Born, very important. Why is it important? We have another word. What is this, Naidu Paidi? Oh, you have come up with all those words. Spectrum, spectra, matrix, matrices, very good. Nouns of Latin and Greek origin. All of you have a look at those words, very useful. And coming to this B-O-R-N, born, to give birth, B-O-R-N-E means to carry something, airborne diseases, waterborne diseases. Here carried out by data. Datum, data, you all know. that getting a college degree is a surer path towards prosperity. Today, what does it say? People believe in something. Why do people from across the world want to go to the US for higher education? Because there's a belief. What is that belief? If you get your MS graduation or MS degree from a prestigious US university, around the world you get a red carpet welcome. Means warm welcome. People respect you in the academic worlds, university level. Coming to this, which is borne out by data, that getting a college degree is a surer path towards prosperity. Mr. Trump, formerly a Democrat, I myself did not know this. Are you guys aware that he was initially a Democrat, today a Republican? I was not aware of this. Trump, formerly a Democrat, is only part of a long-term global mega trend in politics. This is also very something new for me. He is not the first one to do this. It has been there. It is like a trend. Look at the sentence very carefully. Mr. Trump, formerly a Democrat, is only part of a long-term global mega trend in politics. What is that long-term global mega trend in politics? The big picture is that America is only a late entrant in defunding public higher education. Late entrant, not the first one. Trump is not the first one to go in for defunding, rather late entry, late entrant. Then to justify this statement, the UK under Margaret Thatcher was an early starter. India joined the stream long ago with the NDA government only deepening the cutbacks. Australia, Singapore, Germany, and the Scandinavian countries. What are the Scandinavian countries? Sweden, Finland, Norway. Scandinavian countries are holding out among the developed nations. So all these countries have been doing this defunding higher education. Trump is not the first one. This is also very surprising. And here, if you look at the names of countries, India name is also there. It is no coincidence that China's ascent means what? To go up. What is opposite? Come down. It is no coincidence that China's ascent has paralleled continued public funding of higher education. Funding higher education and progress, growth, they are parallel. They go together, hand in hand, go up. It is no coincidence that China's ascent has paralleled continued public funding in higher education, continued public funding of higher education. Much like the US universities of the past, Chinese higher education institutions are building a knowledge base on other nations and regions. In the past, US universities would do the same thing. Perhaps they would send the American students to the Oxford University, to the Cambridge University. That time, Europe was the seat of learning. The top universities were in Europe, not in the US, like the Cambridge University, the Oxford University. Perhaps American students would go there to study. And now China is doing that. Much like the US universities of the past, Chinese higher education institutions are building a knowledge base on other nations and regions. Future generations of Americans will see this as a self-inflicted wound. Obviously, what Trump is doing, according to the editorial, it is something like self-inflicted wound. In the long run, it has far-reaching consequences. In the long run, it is not good for the US. It is not good for Americans. It ends on that particular note. That's all for today. From Monday, Sunday there is no editorial. The Hindu does not publish. The regular pattern, the regular design pattern with mini mocks, everything, editorial vocabulary. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you very much.